And today, we are here to announce an USVI Economic Development Authority community-based economic development initiative. What does that mean? It means it is your chance to participate in what the vision for the Virgin Islands will be for the next 20 years. And we're calling it Vision 2040. And we need you to participate in this event, because in order for us to really move these islands forward, we're going to need the buy-in from the majority of the community. And today,
Good evening, and welcome to the first public presentation for the U.S. Virgin Islands Vision 2040 Economic Strategic Plan. We're glad you have joined us. As you may know, Vision 2040 is an important priority to the governor, our Honorable Governor Albert Bryan Jr. It is this plan that will help guide growth in the Virgin Islands for the next 2 decades. My name is Wayne Biggs Jr., and I am honored to serve as CEO of the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority. Governor Bryan acts via EDA to manage the Vision 2040 process, and we are excited to assume this role. Our meeting this evening will last 30 minutes. It is designed to give you, our viewers, and our listeners who are on by telephone, a solid understanding of what Vision 2040 is all about. By the time it is over, you will have a pretty good idea for the purpose of Vision 2040, how you can be involved, and what you can expect in the weeks to follow. Today, we'll get your input with some online questions, and you will see immediately how your neighbors think about some issues. And at the end of our time together, we will answer questions that you may have. Before we go any further, I would like to know which island you are from right now. If you are able, please use your computer to tell us what island you are from. I'll take a short pause for you to fill in that survey, and we'll present the results shortly. Please take the time right now to indicate St. Croix, St. John, St. Thomas, Water Island, U.S. mainland, and we'll take this quick survey. And there are the results of the survey. 29% of the people on right now are from St. Croix, 6% from St. John, 49% from St. Thomas, and 17% from the U.S. mainland. You can submit a question to us at any time by going to the chat feature on your Zoom controls. First, for all of you who are viewing tonight, we hope you will participate in shaping the future of the Virgin Islands and tell your family, your neighbors, and your friends about this initiative. You can play an important role and be a champion for Vision 2040. This means believing, as we do, in the need for the territory to have a 20-year vision and encouraging others to get involved in this planning process at this time. We know that all the Virgin Islands has some deep problems. We also know creating thousands of jobs to turn the economy around will not be easy. We need to tackle the big issues and look at the horizon instead of down at the can as it gets kicked along. We need to focus on systematic causes, and we need to have a blueprint to follow to move forward. That's what this is all about. Secondly, we need your advice and guidance. You know the Virgin Islands, you have information, and you have been down this road before. We will not be recreating the wheel here. Rather, we need to pull together all the good work that has been done to synthesize it and find patterns and solutions that are workable. As you will see shortly, we have many ways for you to get involved at key points throughout the process. It's not every day that you get or you are asked to play a key role in shaping the future. Let's begin with the basics. Vision 2040 is a 20-year economic strategy and blueprint for the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was Governor Bryan's desire that this process have input from anyone who cares about the territory and wants a voice in what it will look like 20 years from now. So we will be articulating a vision that puts quality of life front and center. We want our territory to be a desirable place to live and for others to want to visit, what I term quality of place. To make this happen, we need to focus on those things that will best position us to be competitive in the world marketplace. We need to have a business climate that attracts and retains businesses. That means we must first be a place that attracts and retains talent. We hope our value proposition, what sets us apart from others, will be our creativity and imagination. Now is probably a good time to talk about the difference between this plan and others that are out there currently underway. The University of the Virgin Islands is currently conducting a comprehensive economic development strategy, or CEDS. The CEDS is done every 3 to 5 years. States, territories, and regions are encouraged to develop these plans to help bring about collaboration and coordinate efforts. Vision 2040 obviously has a longer-term focus. It will be addressing some issues that cannot be accomplished in 3 to 5 years, but which can be tackled over 1 to 2 decades. These will involve systematic issues and deep structural issues that stem economic progress. Our objective is to make sure the CEDS and Vision 2040 fit seamlessly like a hand in a glove. There are other planning efforts going on right now, many of them made possible by federal government disaster relief funds, national institutions, foundations, and world relief organizations. For instance, a tourism master plan is being conducted. The university is working with the International Economic Development Council, we call them the IEDC, to prepare that plan. We will be working closely with the IEDC and others to incorporate findings of that work into Vision 2040. As you can see, we are not lacking in planning efforts. A big part of Vision 20 will be to put all the pieces together to make sure that we have an action blueprint that respects these plans and makes them real. I'm now going to ask Chanel Peterson, our Managing Director of Marketing and Vision 20, who is on the USVI EDA team that is coordinating Vision 20, to talk about what we hope to achieve. Chanel?
Thank you, CEO Biggs, and good evening to all. As you just mentioned, Vision 2040 will be a collaborative effort. Vision 2040 needs to be a plan that everyone can embrace. It needs to speak to conditions in our communities, our quality of life. We will help advance economic development priorities of existing organizations and efforts throughout the territory. Part of our work must be to include ideas for improving education and preparing the workforce of the future. And of course, it needs to take a hard look at how we do economic development and propose changes if needed. That will likely involve recommendations on how to best target resources on projects that will have greatest impact and give us the means to track our performance along the way. We also expect that the plan will include some ideas for improving public and social programs and providing recommendations for achieving greater efficiencies and effectiveness in how we administer resources. At the end of the day, Vision 2040 is all about ensuring economic prosperity. We'll be looking at how best to improve the business climate, helping small businesses grow and entrepreneurs set up operations, making sure the territory is attractive, not only for investment, but as a key location to visit and to stay for work opportunities. The big challenge will be how to diversify our economy over the next 20 years so that we are not as dependent upon tourism or any one industry, but that we instead have a solid base of employers and a variety of good paying jobs. Vision 2040 is ambitious. To help us out, we have some consultants who are working with us. After a thorough competitive bid process, we chose Camoin 310, based out of New York State and Virginia. Camoin 310 has a stellar reputation for producing strategic plans and is one of the top economic development firms in the US today. The principal for our project is Dan Gunderson, who is the former president of economic development for the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Commissioner of New York State, and has led business development efforts in Pennsylvania and Maryland as well. Dan, would you please tell us about some of the issues we can expect to come out of Vision 2040 and the timeline for this project?
I'd be pleased to. Thank you, Chanel. It's an honor and it's a pleasure for Camoin Associates to be part of this very important initiative. I should point out that we have some sub-consultants working with us who live the islands. They know it very well. Garnett Consulting Services, NT Media Productions, Rob DeRocker Associates, and as Wayne mentioned, the International Economic Development Council that has done some work on the islands is also engaged. So we're very confident that we have the right team in place here. So now, Chanel, you asked about those issues. Here are some of the many issues that we expect are going to be considered as part of this Vision 2040. They all have a role in bringing about the economic prosperity that you were talking about. Our job is to help pull them together, to find the best ideas, to synthesize the plans that have already been articulated in some cases or are in process right now, synthesize them into a cohesive blueprint for action. So you can see here, agriculture, climate change, clearly, education and training, energy and telecommunications, and so forth. So you may ask, well, you know, that's not my definition of economic development. It is becoming the economic definition, the economic development definition, because all of these are inputs to economic prosperity. So they need to be included, and we will be doing that. Now let's have some fun. We're going to flip out the screen here in a second, and we're going to ask for your input. On your screen, in about a couple seconds, you're going to see issues that I think you will all agree are key to having a healthy economy. So let's see if we can pop those issues up here. Yes, they are. You should be able to use your own mouse on your computer, your laptop. You should be able to scroll down and see what these different issues are. Here's what I want you to do. We want you to select 3 of them. Select 3 that you think have the greatest potential to bring about economic prosperity if they are solved. If things are working correctly, what do you think is going to do it? Now, there are a lot of issues here. So we're going to have you take your time, give it a lot of considered thought. Energy and communications improvements, that for many of you, it could be like energy, electricity, the reliability of it. Perhaps you might see that as renewable energies. Communications is put in there, that's broadband. I think the island is fairly good on that score, but can always be better. So that's what that one is. Ecoculture and tourism, that's changing the nature of tourism so that it is celebrating the heritage and the culture on the islands. Small business support, that's pretty self-explanatory. Is that going to do it? Is that going to have the biggest impact for economic prosperity? Or is it diversifying the economy, finding new partnerships for trade and investment, industry development? Perhaps you think it's education and training, that we need more technical programs or basic training for residents. Maybe it's lifelong learning. Climate change, we talked about that a little bit. Do you see that as the biggest issue to bring about economic prosperity, if we can get a handle on that? Physical infrastructure improvements, that'd be your roads, your water, your sewer, your airports, and so forth. Industrial development, more manufacturing and business parks. Maybe you think it's healthcare, being able to provide that for islanders, or perhaps it's agribusiness development. So you've had some time, I've explained these things. I'll give you a couple more seconds to think about it. Now, let me assure you, when you answer these, it's totally anonymous. We don't know who you are. So please be serious. Try to choose 3. I should say that we did this for a task force that's been impaneled to help guide this process, and it was fascinating. So we're going to be interested to see if your views coincide with that of the task force. All right, let's see what we've got. Interesting. 62% believe that the way to economic prosperity, the #1 issue is to get a handle on energy. And by this, I'm sure many people are thinking about electricity, perhaps the reliability, perhaps the affordability. Maybe they're thinking about renewables, but that's our job. We'll drill down into that over the next few months. Next up, we've got, let's see, I guess it's education and training for residents, 48%, followed very closely by diversifying the economy. All of this makes perfect sense. That is followed by physical improvement to the infrastructure. We're going to want to know, and with your input throughout this process, we're going to understand what you mean by that. Do you mean potholes, or do you mean airport runway or port development? We really are going to want to understand that a little bit more. So that was an interesting process. I hope you found that of interest. So the other thing that I want to talk about, Chanel asked me to address the project schedule. Here you have a graphic. You can see that it's incredibly aggressive. We are trying to pull this off, and will pull it off between now and the end of January. Now, it's tight. Camoin 310, the consulting firm that I represent, our job is to make sure we hit all of the deliverables on time. You can see in the blue boxes some of the opportunities. There are many more, but some of the opportunities for you to be involved. Red indicates where we are today, October, in the first public presentation. Citizen surveys, we'll talk about those in a second. They're up on the website, and we already have a good response. We want a great response, but that's only been up for about 48 hours, so that's fantastic. We'll have another one of these public presentations next month where we'll talk about some of the findings, what we're learning, and some virtual open houses. To talk more about this, I'd like to turn it back to Chanel to talk about all the things that will be happening within this next 90 days to 100 days.
Thanks, Dan. The outreach strategy is dedicated to reaching people across the islands and beyond. We will be engaging local leaders, utilizing media channels, deploying social media, including those without internet, involving the diaspora, some advertising, public relations, and more. This chart lays out some of the outreach that we are doing. Beginning at the top with the yellow circle and going clockwise, you will see that we have developed a website for this project. It is live as of today and can be found at www.usvi2040.com. People will be able to go here to find out what is going on and how to get involved. We will also be using social media to get the word out. Next, you will see that Camoin 310 will be conducting one-on-one interviews. There will be 3 focus group discussions. With these groups, we'll bring together diverse viewpoints to consider some key questions and get feedback on different approaches. Camoin 310 and VIEDA will also be hosting 5 work group meetings. These meetings will be set up around STEAM, which are services, technology, energy, agriculture, and manufacturing. In November, there will be 3 surveys for the business community, 1 tailored for each island. Each island will also have what we are calling open houses. Though the open houses are virtual events, they will be where residents can go to participate in interactive sessions on subjects of interest to them. Each of the 3 islands will have 2 open houses lasting 2 weeks each. More to come on that. There will also be 2 public presentations given virtually. This one is tonight and another one in November. This is an opportunity for residents to hear from us and get up to speed on what's happening with Vision 2040. Camoin 310 and VIEDA will host 2 events for the diaspora. This includes one that will target the US mainland and another for international participants who have direct interests, roots, and ties to the US Virgin Islands. We expect this will include individuals who once lived in the islands and, if given employment opportunities, might wish to come back. And finally, we'll be having surveys tailored to each island. These will be designed to get perspectives and ideas from residents. These surveys are online now at the website, and we encourage you to participate. Make sure you fill out a survey and remind everyone you know on the islands to do the same. I will turn it back to CEO Biggs to talk about next steps. Mr.
Thank you,
Biggs,
Chanel.
you're
As
welcome.
you can see, we have a lot of work to do. Here is what will happen next. Governor Bryan kicked things off with a press conference earlier this week at Government House on St. Croix. The website went live. Please check it out at USVI 2040, USVI2040.com. I want to repeat what Chanel said. We hope you will take the community survey. We need you to take that community survey. They are island specific, as we realize each island has unique elements to it. It is completely anonymous. The governor was first to take it. Here he is explaining what it was like.
And I'd like to tell the public that I took the survey before I came here. You can go on to USVI2040.com, and it's very easy. I did it in it took 10 minutes doing it. It even rolls for you. You don't even have to hit next, which I found very impressive. So get on there, take the survey, be brutally honest with yourself. And the one thing that I noticed taking the survey though, to hear what people say is, they compare us to other islands in the Caribbean and what you want to see, what you're seeing in those islands and what we don't have here. So it's a good time for you to take it. We're going through the pandemic now. We have a lot to think about and move forward. And I'd like to tell the
So make sure you go to the website and fill out a survey for your island. Other things are happening as we speak. Working with the International Economic Development Council, the IEDC, as we spoke about earlier, Camoin 310 will be conducting its assessment of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. That is, the ability for people on the islands to start and grow businesses. We are also conducting stakeholder interviews, focus groups, and work groups around the STEAM sectors. We start the month of November with the first open house. As Chanel mentioned, these will be designed to add some excitement and new technologies to get resident input. Please consider joining us for some fun and informative sessions. The diaspora events will get underway. Already we have a list of 20,000 people who will be invited. And by the time we host the second public presentation, the framework for a strategy will begin to come into focus. For all of this work, we need your help. Dan?
Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. Hello again. All right, we are going to move into the next segment of the program tonight. We're going to take your questions. If you could use the Q&A button on your computer screen and submit some questions, we'd appreciate it. We have a couple here that can get us going. One is from Jason, and Jason is writing, it would be great if the USVI considered joining the U.S. Climate Alliance with the other 25 governors, including Puerto Rico. Would this be something that could be considered? Could we move forward and fast on that? Thanks for holding this event. All right, so one of the things that we will be looking at clearly is the climate change. Wayne, I don't know if you have any other thoughts about that, but
Yes, I did mention to Jason privately that I will be happy to bring this up with the governor and mention that to him. And I can respond to him offline. I did ask him to send me the link that he included to my email address, as I am unable to access the link from this particular site. So I will be following up with Jason individually, but I think it's a great idea. I was part of that initiative under the MAP administration. I think it's an initiative we should continue.
thank you, Wayne. Miguel says he figured out the community survey and is appreciative. He thanks us for it. Next up here, how will this plan be sustained when the administration changes? Wayne, Chanel?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a crack at that question. Of course, we never know what's going to happen with plans, but for a 20-year plan, we anticipate, if it is community-based and the community is behind this plan, that whatever legislature may be there, whatever government administration may be there, will continue to follow the plan, because it would be community-based, it will be community-supported. So that's why we want your input. And that's why we need your input to create this activity that is really grassroots and is growing from the grassroots up. So we anticipate that it will outlive administrations, it will outlive legislatures, and it will last for 20 years. The one thing I'd like to say is that this plan, because it is a 20-year plan, is going to have to be tweaked continuously. So we'll be fine-tuning it from time to time, making modifications and making changes. Just think, if we had a plan and COVID happened, we would have had to tweak that particular plan. So that's the same way we're viewing this. This is going to be evergreen, so we're going to be looking at this regularly and tweaking it as it needs to be tweaked.
Okay, we have far more questions than we can answer in the next 3 minutes or so. So we encourage you, send them to on the website, there's an area to comment. We assure you all of your questions will be answered. But I do love this one here from Miriam, and I'm going to give it to Chanel. Chanel, this is a softball. Miriam writes, I am a teenager. Can I participate?
Absolutely. Hence why, we're engaging everyone via social media, and we know that that's where generally teenagers socialize and spend so much of their time. So rather than liking photos, we're hoping that we can get the high schoolers, middle schoolers, involved and giving their input, because they are going to be the individuals that are going to be in leadership positions 20 years from now. So it's really important that doesn't matter how young you are, to get involved, to take the survey, to share with your friends and get your friends involved as well.
Thank you, Chanel. Wayne, we have about a minute and a half, and I know we've got a couple items of business to take care of.
Yeah, again, remember to go to the website. You will find everything you need to know about Vision 2040 on the website. We encourage you to fill out the survey, and we hope you will attend the virtual open house on November 2nd. It will be fun. In closing, we have just one more poll for you. Again, thank you. And please encourage your friends, your family, your associates, your neighbors to participate in this process.
Thank you, everyone. A quick feedback on this. Again, we'll have another one of these sessions next month. And we do appreciate you taking the time and being part of the process. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Have a good evening. Thank you.